Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Hollan. Great to have you join this session on building adaptive development teams in the AI-driven world. This is a topic that I'm really passionate about, hoping to share some things here that will help you in learning and navigating and giving you some ideas on maybe what's worked with other organizations if we try to figure out how best can we take advantage and surface the benefits that AI can bring into our organizations. Now, we only have about 20 minutes, so I'll try to keep this pretty focused. Before we get into it, though, let me give a quick introduction of myself. Great to meet you. I'm Jeff. I'm currently Director of Product at Snowflake. If you're not familiar, Snowflake is the data cloud. This is a multi-cloud data platform, everything from doing data querying, analysis, engineering, AI, ML. I personally focus mostly on some of the developer compute capabilities, so running Python, some of the developer tooling. I've worked a lot with developer and developer tooling throughout my career, very passionate about it. I've been at Snowflake for about 2.5 years now. Before that, I was at Microsoft. There, I was running the product team for their serverless compute business for Azure. So serverless Azure Functions, Azure Container Apps, Azure Web Apps. Spent some time with other products as well. Loved my time there. Again, working very closely with developers. I really love, presenting at conferences like this, playing with technology, seeing what some of the latest and greatest stuff that can do, building and working with developers. In fact, if you want to reach out, if you have any questions for me, questions on the presentation, you can find me on Twitter, X, at Jeff Hollan, on LinkedIn, wherever. Happy to chat with anyone. Happy to help. Okay, so let's jump into it. Obviously, this is not news to anyone, but this will kind of lead us in a little bit about what it means to build an adaptive team equipped to be the best suited for running AI applications and AI workloads and taking advantage of AI. And I think the big data point here is really AI is a transformational technology. Yes, it's now been a good, year and a half, 2 years since generative AI has really taken hold of everyone's hearts and minds and imaginations, but we are still very much just in the early phases. And AI is going to disrupt so many different aspects of industries and businesses. How teams are developing, how they're collaborating, the types of people who are involved in those teams, how and the types of solutions we can build, and how our users interact with our systems through natural text and speech and you name it. In so many different aspects, there's a lot of upside here. And the purpose of the next 20 minutes is to share some of the observations that I've had as I've worked with organizations and customers building AI solutions through my role now at Snowflake, of some of the characteristics that will set you best up for success in this AI-driven world. So how can you be a winner in this space and not be on the sideline? If you think back to almost mobile, it was very clear a few years in who was taking mobile first seriously and who would have, like a desktop site that would just render on your phone and not be super optimized. I don't want you to be that one. I want you to be the former one. I want you to be a winner in the AI world. So let's jump into it. So there's 4 main principles that I'd like to recommend in building an adaptive development team. First one is embracing continuous learning, foster a culture of experimentation, balance AI with human insight, and prioritize ethical considerations very early. So let's jump into each of those now. So the first one, embrace continuous learning. This is a topic I'm incredibly passionate about. I mentioned I used to work at Microsoft before Snowflake. I worked there for about a decade. For those who are familiar with Microsoft or Microsoft technology, you might be aware of one of the leaders at Microsoft. His name is Scott Guthrie. He's currently the lead for their cloud and enterprise group and AI group, I think. I remember earlier in my career, I was at a meeting and Scott Guthrie was talking about his career. And someone asked the question, what advice would you give? What's something that you've done in your career that you think is super important? And I remember his answer was always be learning. That's something that he was very passionate about, was I want to always be learning. And that's something I really took to heart. It's something I mentioned I like to hack around. This is something I deeply, deeply believe in, is this need to always be learning. This is especially important when there are paradigm shifts like AI happening. And this is going to be a big one. The World Economic Forum estimates that 44% of core skills are going to need to go through some change and evolution by 2027. So a significant amount of our skill set is going to be evolving just in the next 2 to 3 years. So what are some ways that you can embrace continuous learning individually or with your teams? I think a big one is making sure that you make it known that learning is a priority. I'll give an example. one of the big questions that folks have with AI right now, because it is still so early, is, how should we get started here? Is it too early? Should we wait till we see a little bit more best practices? What if we get something wrong? There's kind of that fear of, what if I go spin up an AI project and it ends up being a flop or not a very, very good fit? I absolutely believe that for any project, especially AI project, you should have a clear indication of what success looks like. You should have a clear indication of what the impact for that project would be. However, sometimes just learning is the outcome that is worth it alone. Understanding what it takes to build that tool. I built a few AI projects, like I mentioned, kind of on my spare time or helping work with customers. Some projects that analyze support cases, some projects that enable me to have chat-like experiences. I built a little AI bot at one point that would help me, give me workout ideas. Like when I go to the gym and I don't know what to do, like a little optimized bot that knew about me. Each one of those projects, I learned so much from what works well with AI, what doesn't work well, where did I have an expectation that was met or unmet. It was incredibly valuable, and I think that's essential for every team to be doing. So encourage and create space for that learning. Make sure people know this is a priority. Make sure that learning is a valuable objective. I'd also like to emphasize, though, oftentimes in different employee surveys, you'll hear employees a little bit discouraged with learning. They're like, hey, my organization is not doing enough for me to be learning. And there's something to that, to be clear. It is absolutely essential that organizations spend time and energy in creating programs and systems for learning. However, I strongly believe that learning is an individual responsibility. That in the same way I can't complain at my organization if I don't have enough time to shower or brush teeth because they're not providing showers or toothbrushes at work. Like, no. Like, obviously, don't work 24/7, but some things are my responsibility. And I deeply believe that learning is one of them. So don't wait for an organizational program to come in and handhold you through learning. Find ways to do it on your own. And again, I'm not saying work is the only important thing, but find that time to learn and make sure you're building an organization where that is encouraged. The other big part here is just learning in a vacuum is not very helpful. When learning is happening, make sure that there are forums, that there's avenues, that there's systems to help share out those learnings. Maybe you highlight it in something like a team all hands or a team meeting. Maybe there's a team blog post internally or externally that you encourage or incentivize or reward people for participating in. That sharing serves two purposes, really. The first one is, one, other people make learnings as well, even though they might not have actually gone through the experience. But the other one is, it really helps you solidify your own learnings when you have to explain it and share it with others. So those would be my recommendations. I linked here. There's been some great research by folks like MIT on some continuous learning and the impact that it has. This is essential for every team to start learning actively to find out how to best adopt in this AI-driven world. Very related to it is fostering a culture of experimentation. Now, this is, like I mentioned, kind of an extension of learning, but the frame of mind here that I would encourage, especially for teams early in the process, in this initial stages, is make sure you're thinking more like a scientist and less like an investor. And what I mean by that is, a scientist, they have a hypothesis. They then go test their hypothesis. Maybe their hypothesis was correct. Maybe it was wrong. They're not, hopefully, biased by making sure their hypothesis is correct. They just want to know what's the truth. Like, what is the actual truth of this question? And whatever that truth is, maybe it validates my hypothesis. Maybe my hypothesis was wrong, and now I have a new truth that I learned or a new hypothesis to test. That's success. An investor looks at something of like, hey, I'm going to put in some money and I need a return on my investment. And if I don't get the return that I expected, then it was a failed investment. If you approach AI like an investor in those initial stages, you're going to overlook some of the value of those learnings, some of the value of understanding and adaptive. Another failure mode in this, kind of the first bullet point, is something I see a lot of organizations trip up on is, hey, there's a lot of unknowns in this AI-driven world. We don't know how to do testing and explainability in some of the same ways. Maybe some of the tool sets require us that we integrate with systems in ways that we're not used to or familiar with. Should we hold off doing anything until we can do everything? And I would really, really encourage taking some leaps of faith, even acquiring a little bit of technical debt so that you can benefit from that experimentation and that learning. Of course, be responsible. Make sure you're making a plan to circle back to finalize and close out those open questions, but go through, learn those things, share those learnings. Not every experiment is going to be successful. More often than not, when I talk to organizations who are learning how to build AI-driven teams, they'll say something like, hey, we did 10 projects. 5 or 6 of them, we realized this isn't viable. Like the return on investment isn't there. And that's okay, because we learned that 5 or 6 things aren't ready right now. But we found 4 things that are, which is also an important part that you also need to be sure you're objective. I think the another failure mode we often fall into is, the set of individuals who maybe worked on those 5 or 6 things that didn't turn out to be viable. It's now their baby, right? And they're like, oh, well, we want to keep pushing this forward and keep pushing it forward. Part of approaching it like a scientist means that you're able to say like, no, this one didn't pan out. Let's go focus in on the areas that did. Let's go optimize and learn and do the next set of investments. And of course, recognition. This, again, hand in glove with the learning aspect. Make sure you're creating space and time and actual ways to recognize people who are experimenting. Make sure that they feel valuable. Make sure that others feel like this is a valuable use of their time. And that even a failed experiment is a valuable one. I think often we get caught up on recognizing successes. Hey, this team shipped something. It resulted in $10 million. Everybody celebrate this team. What about the team who tried something that failed and maybe they sunset it within 2 or 3 months and they had valuable learnings from it? Of course, there are differences between these two things, but recognize those folks too. Because if you don't create those safe spaces for experimentation, people will be very cautious of doing that experimentation. And per all that we've said, you do not want to be too slow in this AI-driven world. You want to be ahead of the curve. Now, there's some practicality that I'd also emphasize as well of building an adaptive team, and that's make sure you're balancing AI with human insight. Okay, so consider how you can build systems and processes that will use AI as a supporting function. In the world of development, I think there is a tremendous opportunity, and we're seeing parts of this already when it comes to code authoring, operations, DevOps, CI/CD, where AI is going to actually help us be much more productive. However, you want to make sure you're building AI into those systems where you still are taking advantage of human insight. Make sure you're regularly checkpointing where is AI working and where is it not? Where maybe is this introducing more problems than it is benefits? Or how can we mitigate against some of the risk when a problem might surface? How do we recognize it? I strongly believe, again, this is my observation and my belief. Maybe I'll be found to be wrong here. The AI will create much more opportunity and create more jobs than it will less. And I say that in part because I have yet to meet with a team who says, oh yeah, we have enough developers, we have enough engineers, we have enough data scientists, we have enough DevOps engineers, like we're set. There's always room for more. And I think AI will help us be much more productive, but keeping space for those human insights, figuring out how your systems can support and evolve around the AI rather than replace it. So some of the tasks that we do, maybe some of the more mundane or repetitive tasks might be augmented by AI more, but you still have the human who's continuing to drive and direct and review those processes. So that's an important consideration to make. And a last one, which could not be understated either, mostly want to make sure that folks think about this early in the process, is how you can prioritize ethical considerations early in the progress. One thing that I found is very beneficial here is make sure that your teams are built on a central mission, a deeper mission. That mission is not make more money or beat the competition. That is not a grounded mission. A mission is generally something that more connects internally. How are we empowering individuals? How are you making others' lives better? How are you making the world a better place? What is your organization's mission? How are you improving the lives of others? And if you can have a mission like that, often you can checkpoint what you are doing and making sure that the means are going towards the right ends, that you're not inadvertently introducing biases into the system or privacy concerns or environmental concerns. You're not trading off on some of those things. They're actually creating a net negative in society or a net negative in the world. And it is something that we need to be mindful of. Like many things, like inclusion, like diversity, like equal opportunity, I think this is something that we can't just assume will happen on its own. We need to be conscious of. I am very optimistic by nature. I deeply believe that AI will have far more benefits than it will negatives, but I think we need to keep this in mind. I think teams need to be mindful, checkpoint, have postmortems, think about how bias can be filtered in, how Not having observability or explainability can make it difficult to ensure quality. That we need to respect privacy and environmental considerations. So keep that in mind. Just regularly checkpoint, like have it on your list. Hey, every month or every quarter, let's go through and see, are there any ethical considerations to be aware of? Because you don't want to be caught by surprise on this. You don't want to get so many steps into the process only to realize, you know what, we built this great system that's helping us augment our recruiting process, but you know what? It's really biasing our insight, and we actually need to take some corrective actions here. So keep that in mind. It's absolutely a risk. And now, of course, I mentioned I'm optimistic by nature. I am so excited for the opportunity all of us have here in building adaptive teams for AI. I deeply believe, through my own experience of building some of these little, widgets or apps, and also seeing organizations who are starting to leverage AI through my job at Snowflake, I think there's such an upside here. And this is one of those moments, these, last year and a half and the next 2.5 years or so, these are things that only happen in a decade or so, right? These are fundamental shifts in technology, internet, mobile, personal computing, whatever that thing is. We are experiencing one of those right now, and we all have the opportunity to be a part of that. So enjoy that. Realize that there's going to be change, and change is often, if not always, uncomfortable. But realize this is great. These are the moments that at least I live for, right? Being a part of those. So find ways to bring teams forward, to amplify the positive impact of this technology. Figure out how can we make the most good of this and not be too bogged down by worrying about the negative. And there is negative aspects for sure. Like any of the other paradigms that I just mentioned, there's a good and there's a bad. So let's do what we can collectively as a community to bring forward the good. And that community aspect, I think, is so important. Learn, share, participate. What's working for you? What's not working for you? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let's go through this journey together, and let's figure out how to build these adaptive teams. I think the last note that I'll close on here quickly of what I'm excited about with AI is when we think about adaptive teams, especially adaptive development teams, I'm encouraged to think that the people who will be able to participate actively is going to increase dramatically because of AI. I think about AI tooling. I have the ability to write code. I have the ability when I think up something that I want to build, I can usually go and build it. I'm not a great developer, to be clear, but I know the basics. I know how to write a simple web app or a simple mobile app or, some simple backend logic. There are many people in the world who don't have that skill set, but have wonderful ideas. They have wonderful contributions. And right now it works out because they find a ways to participate in that process. I think AI is going to open up this world to so many folks. What we look at today is our development teams, our product teams, our DevOps teams. I think a larger set of individuals are going to be able to participate heavily in that because of the benefits that AI can bring. That's going to cause change. Like I said, we're going to have to think about things differently. We're going to figure out where we specialize and where we don't, how we keep humans in the loop. But overall, to me, that's a very exciting future to think of what we can all build together as a community. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this gave you some ideas, gave you a little bit of courage to go and embrace that learning. Make sure you're experimenting, encouraging your teams to do the same, recognizing folks who do. If you have questions, like I mentioned, you can find me on social. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of the conference.